And two laptops
this is
back
like,
there.
I feel like he's Elton John working on 7 pianos back there. Pace's job is to what? I mean, his name is Pace.
Pace of play.
He's a pace of play. So he's the
our
one,
marshal.
He's the one who's waving his flag right now, going like this. You gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta hurry up. So anyway,
I keep looking
Pace
behind
is
the
with
scenes.
us as well.
I keep looking behind the scenes right now, and I see he's got like smoke coming out of his ears right now, and
I'm shaking.
So he's also gets to be our fact checker. He gets to be the anything that we spout out, you're able to then let us know if that's factually accurate.
Quite obviously,
right?
we know who he wants to win the Masters with his cap on, right? He's got a tiger cap on.
That's pretty slick.
He's got the
I like
goat.
He's got the goat. Anyway,
All right,
there you go.
let's hop right in.
Let's
so each week we're gonna. This is a weekly deal, guys. So this is a commitment.
Maybe.
No. All right. So each week we'll discuss some different topics. We got some bits that we're working on. Also, we're broadcast live on YouTube, Facebook. Are we on Twitter, Pace?
Nope, not Twitter.
Come on.
Next week from Butler Cabin.
That's right. Hey, we're live on Facebook and YouTube. Feel free to chime in, comment, suggest.
How do we do this? Do we have this like and subscribe? We got to do this YouTube
Click
like
here,
and
click
subscribe.
there.
Click
Can
here,
we do
thumbs
that?
up. Yep. So like and subscribe.
But we'd love to hear any feedback from the audience, and if you want us to go a certain direction, I think we're capable of pivoting. So please feel free to chime in, and we'd love to hear some remarks. And Pace, do we have stuff that we can give away?
We got a couple sleeves of golf balls, yes.
What kind of golf balls are
The best.
Okay.
Mojo.
So good.
People love swag.
Oh my gosh.
Lots and lots
Just
of
showered in
yes.
swag. All right. So the first bit that we're going to go through is called our leaderboard. So each week we're going to discuss different topics that kind of have like the top of the week, I guess is what we'll call it. So things that were trending between us golf pros. Let's put it that way. So what do we got on the top of the list, boys?
So I think first of all, we talked about this before. Obviously, this week is a big week for the LPGA, and we have a local Amy Olsen, right? So let's talk about Amy. First day yesterday, Thursday, was what? +3?
+3 is what
probably
I saw,
not
yeah.
where she was wanting to be, but that's our first leaderboard, and we hope that she continues to. She needs a good day today. I didn't see any score, so I don't know what the cut's going to be, but
Cookie, did you watch anything?
I watched a little bit of it. It looked like it was playing relatively tough, although there's a few girls I think at the top as far as at 6 under. This is the last year they're having it at that location, correct? I believe so. This will be the last opportunity to jump into Poppy Pond. So if Amy wants to have that opportunity, she's really gonna have to put something special together today in today's round. But
Probably the coolest celebration ever, right? Celebration ceremony or whatever, jumping in the pond. So.
funny how all the cool stuff happens, as we used to say in our house when the kids are growing up, on accident.
Oh, for
right?
sure.
Just totally out of the blue, happened out of the blue, and now it's like this whole thing. And next year I think they moved to Houston.
I think that's correct.
So from the ANA, they used to be called the ANA, now it's called the Chevron, I think.
Right.
So,
Didn't this kind of all originate with Dinah Shore? And
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
a lot of
Yep.
history
Dinah,
there, and
yep.
it's like 50 years or something like that. It's been a long time,
Yeah.
and so this has kind of been a big move. But I think also with Chevron on board, I think you continue to see the ladies' game. Money continues to move forward, which is awesome for the LPGA, and so I think they're playing for a much higher purse now, and that's all great news. And so some great talent at the top. Boy, there's a lot of good women in the sport right now.
So number 2 on our leaderboard, which blew up on Monday, I think. Monday, right? Who knew that a picture of an airplane
It's all took.
on a tarmac blows up into that? Here we go, Matt. You love me when I do this. Augusta's so hard to walk. So Tiger Woods lands in Augusta, right? We know too much information about everything nowadays, and the world blows up because he's playing practice rounds at Augusta.
Yeah, it was pretty cool to act. I mean, they were like tracking his jet on the NORAD deal. I mean, it was like the Santa tracker deal. People were like, he's circling Augusta, it's happening, and yeah, I mean, it was going crazy. Twitter world was going nuts. You're a Twitter guy. So,
I am a Twitter guy.
That was just like everything on the feed.
Yes,
so.
it was even better than the slap.
It is, you know.
Anyway, let's go.
If you think of it, that really is amazing, though. I mean, what was it? Last February 2021, he's in a very serious car accident. I mean, some people are kind of wondering, you know, is he even going to pull out of this? And then two, once we found out, you know, things are stable there, is he ever going to walk again?
Right.
So, I mean, we never even knew if Tiger was going to play golf, period, nonetheless competitive golf. And so for him to be back at Augusta a little over a year later, I mean, it's quite a story. It'd be interesting to see how the round went. If, you know, if his son Charlie had him couple down at the turn, or you know, where was that? What was it? Him and Charlie, and I think maybe JT. I think was Justin Thomas.
Justin Thomas was on property. Again, they do such a good job of maybe hiding what's going on. They're not hiding, but again, it's a private place. So I don't know who played with who or what they did, but I saw Tiger practicing on number 9 green, and they had like 6 water bottles spread around the green. He was chipping a different spot. So, I mean, the biggest question we'll know, people have told me we'll know today, but we'll see whether he's actually playing or not. Next week, obviously, when we come on Friday morning at 7, we'll have a much better idea of, obviously, you know, A, is he playing, and B, you know, where's he stand?
You know, it'd be really cool, though, it'd be great if he could play, and I hope he does. But it'd also be kind of fun if he would participate, like even in the par 3 contest. You know, being down before, and you guys are all watching it, it's such a cool experience. And even to see Charlie maybe on his bag and hitting a few shots.
Maybe it'll be the other way.
Could
be.
Maybe Tiger will caddy for Charlie.
Yeah, that would be quite an experience too. So this will be electrifying. You know, you always know when you start to hear that Masters theme song. You know, golf is around the corner. Masters is such a cool experience, and it's by far, I think, my favorite golf tournament to watch. You know,
without question.
So it's just really cool experience.
So it was a crazy day on Monday, right? And we know that both Osgood and Rose Creek and Prairie are open today, right? April 1st, they're open
April
today.
1st, yeah.
We talk about, again,
Pace, can you put that as a graphic? Make sure that all our viewers know it is April 1, and anything that is spewed from Greg McCullough's mouth
it's a lie.
Total BS.
People know that anyway. Anyway, so we thought we would bring in an expert.
That's right.
An expert into how many times this week, right? How many times this week have you been asked the question?
Well, at least.
When are you going to open? And obviously you guys open today, but when are you going to open?
You got to be easy with that. At least 3 times every hour, I get a phone call that is, when are you open? It is definitely the trending question right now. And we are golf nuts in Fargo. I mean, people love their golf. And when they look out on just a beautiful golf course and there's no snow on it, they think I should be able to put a tee in the ground and go. And I get it, because I get it. But we did bring in an expert today.
We did, actually. So welcome at this point, Jason Spissner. Jason is our superintendent at Edgewood and in charge of El Zagel also. We thought we would bring Jason to say, A, how come those guys are open and we're not? But B, what does it take? Is it just sunshine? As soon as the snow leaves, is it sunshine? What kind of things are you? What's the most important thing that you're looking for to get open?
Well, thanks for having me on your
Are
inaugural
you sure?
show. You didn't warn me much. You just kind of said show up. Okay. But for the golf course, obviously the most important thing is we got to get rid of the snow, and you really want to get rid of your frost in the ground. Having the frost up, you could be snow free, thinking in February, hey, we don't have any snow, how come we're not playing? Well, our turf is cool season grasses. They don't really start to grow until the temperatures warm up, and that varies throughout the year. But the biggest thing is if you have that frost in the ground and you let a whole bunch of carts or people out, you can have what's called is shearing, root shearing. And so you want to make sure your frost level is below your roots, because you don't think it's going to happen, but if somebody's out, you could be walking on a green, whatever, and all of a sudden where that frost layer is, maybe it's down 1 or 2 inches, you could actually have that turf under your feet move, and that shears your roots. And you probably aren't going to notice it right away, but you're going to notice it very soon, and your turf is definitely going to take a step back. So you kind of want to get that frost out of there.
Is there a soil temperature or a temperature that helps that, or is it just kind of you're not flipping cards up in the air, turning it over? And
no,
let's
we'll
go
out with probes and probe the soil and just see how deep we can where the frost level is. That's the biggest thing. You take our root levels wherever they're at. If they're down 6-8 inches. You want to at least make sure you're below that, so you don't have to worry about shearing off any of those roots. The other big thing is, at Edgewood, an older golf course, it doesn't dry quite as well. We don't have cart paths wall to wall. If you had cart paths wall to wall, you might be able to be out playing earlier if it's, not super wet and muddy. You want it to dry up. So basically what we go look for is, are we snow free? Okay, yes.
No.
Not right now. Is the frost gone? Well, for the most part, it's down and gone out of, I would say, everywhere that we've checked in the greens, tees, fairways. So that's out of there. Now with the snow we just got, we're going to have to melt it, and then obviously that's going to lead back the moisture that we're going to have to see how we handle it. Does it all soak in and we dry out nice? If that happens, it won't be too long until we're ready. We've got some, to pick up the winter ropes, do the typical winter cleanup from all the sticks and debris that's blown around. But that's a minor, quick deal.
So
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say. So once you deem the golf course to be frost free, once you've hit that point where you're like, okay, we're not in danger of any root shearing or anything like that, then how many days? What's the time? What is it ultimately? Are you looking at degree days? Are you looking at temps? What are you looking at that point? Once you know that the frost is gone and we're snow free.
Really, once the frost is gone, we're snow free, and we're dry enough. That drying thing is the key. We'll start cleaning up everything. We had started last week, then we got the snow that kind of put the brakes on. But the golf course will really tell you when it's ready to open. You can, after you've done it long enough, you go out there, you can just, when you're walking the golf course, you can just feel, you don't have muds all over your pant legs as you're walking. It's not sloshing up mud, and it's dry. And we tend to open probably a little bit earlier, and, forego carts for a little bit just to get people out there. If we were going to wait for carts, that would push our opening back a little bit, because you just don't want to have that damage. Because early in the year, say we open in April, your turf isn't really growing. It's not really recovering. It's still alive, still there, but every divot we make, it's going to last us until mid-May, until you're really healing up. And that's the big advantage now that Osga is going to be getting their synthetic tee in the back.
Yeah.
That you can get out on the range probably a little earlier than normal, because you don't have to worry about beating up the turf. So that's going to be a big help.
Yeah, and maybe not this year, unfortunately, right? But we're pretty excited or this spring, I should say. We're not going to have that turf in just yet, but pretty excited for potentially a longer practice session to the fall, and then going into next season, early spring. So and I think that's just you see a lot of golf courses going to that, So I'm pretty excited about that.
Jason, I imagine also, you're going to find golf courses that are around this region that'll open up sooner. Some are very aggressive as far as that, but I don't know if people understand either. I imagine that different conditions, different places. You're a very tree heavy golf course, a lot of shade, things like that. You've got other golf courses that might be totally open. You might have around our area, we've got very heavy clay. You might go down the road 40 miles and whatever, you might find sandy soil. And so, you look at different conditions like that, how does that also come into play a little bit? So, people are sometimes going, well, hey, course X out here is open on up. Why aren't you guys open yet?
So, in general, we'll just compare Edgewood and Elzegel right now. Elzegel was rebuilt 5 years ago with newer turf grasses, newer varieties. Newer varieties are so much more hardy and are able to handle earlier play and even play later into the fall, because it's a better strain of grass. It's newly developed, newly established. They're just more aggressive. Where you come out to Edgewood, we have a lot of POA. POA typically is a grass you find it a lot. It's great grass out in California when it's 70 for highs and lows are in the 50s. It's perfect. Come out here, when you get to the extremes, all POA wants to do in this area in the winters and hot summers is die. It's just a terrible grass that you have, and that to go along with our shade, we have tons more shade out there, and just older varieties. We've been doing a ton in the after some floods, overseeding, trying to get newer hybrid, newer grasses out there that can handle those kind of conditions better. So, and it comes down to what you're willing to except for damage in the spring. I mean, if you're into all we want to do is make money, no matter what, you're free of snow,
Right.
let them go. It's going to affect your conditions at some point. So you just,
That was on your bumper sticker, right? Free of snow, let them go.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's super interesting, to hear all of the the agronomy side of it.
Pace fell
because
asleep back there.
oh, I know he's just. But that's I
We're
love.
going to trademark that one.
I mean, I love hearing all that because the questions that we get, when we look out there oftentimes and we don't really know what's going on underneath all of that, and all the golf courses so completely different,
See, from a superintendent end, all we're trying to do is keep the turf healthy, growing, always growing, and being just, we want to have the best conditions possible all the time. So that, you get a heavy rain in the summer. Well, we want to try to avoid having to do too much repair work because it takes a lot of extra time to get it. Where if we were to avoid, say, carts after a heavy rain, that can save us days, even months worth of repair.
Yeah.
So we're inherently that way, and the other end,
We're inherently the other way.
trying to get, they want to get as many people in and get them going because you're getting all the calls, and so we understand that. So we play that balancing act of when do we get them out there and
He
get them
said they
going?
understand that. That is out there now. They
It
can
is.
never take that away.
It is out there. Go ahead.
When you think of, in addition to kind of some of the conditions you talk about as far as just even getting open, what type of things like in the spring and fall, we do have such things as frost. We've got those freezing at night still sometimes. You've got those warm temperatures of the day. What type of things does that bring as far as issues as well in regards to both, once again, regeneration of turf, being able to keep...
See, frost is a killer. That's when you have grass blades that are frosty and you see that white on them. What it is your grass blades are actually kind of full of water and they're frozen. And if you step on them, you actually break those and you'll have damage to turf that'll last weeks, maybe even longer. So in the spring, that's the one thing we have to avoid, and the fall, where if you have those frosty mornings, you got to make sure that frost is gone. It's a little, in the fall where you have warmer soil temps, it tends to burn off quicker. But now in the spring when we have frost, they tend to last a little longer because your soil temps are still cooler. Generally, grass isn't going to really start growing until your soil temps get close to that 50 degrees. Give or take a little here and there. But for the most part, 50 degrees is kind of that number for soil temps for stuff to start really kind of getting to going in the springs.
So, we're doing, I think, a pretty good job. How many viewers do we got, Pace? We have
723?
Is that hundreds?
44 or 8?
8.
8.
Yes. Hey, that's
Okay, let's
solid.
see if we can't get this.
Oh, we got 9. We got 9.
We got 9. Let's go to 10. Do I hear 10?
Pandering works.
We
All
are
right.
pandering works.
Yeah. So when we do this and we're talking about the education side of, we are ultimately trying to communicate and educate our clientele, right? Because like we said, they see this golf course and they're going, why can't we play? What are you guys doing from the GCSAA, the Golf Course Superintendents Association? What are you guys doing? Is there any type of PR or communication efforts that you can do and what can we do as golf professionals to better educate people? Because
Block them.
but when people come up to that counter and then you're doing an excellent job of being able to tell the story, but we got phones ringing, we're taking down tee times, we're running all over the place. How can we do a better job of communicating, even maybe before that person comes to the front desk?
Our biggest thing is, the professionals and the superintendents really have to be kind of on the same wavelength, where if they're getting questions, they have to be comfortable, ask me, and I can try to explain so I can educate you guys so when those come up through the year, the answers that were given. The GCSA, they do a decent job of promoting the superintendent overall, but as far as each facility, there's it's a lot of signage. You put signage out, and signage is only as good as people actually read it, and sometimes they see it don't even bother reading it. A lot of times, for out on the range, just for example, there's the divot patterns that it's easier to recover from the straight line divot pattern that we put out there.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Some people just inherently are not going to do it. And you can go even to the tour level. When they're out on a range, there's a handful. If you've ever watched VJ sing, he'll put 3 lines out there in his practice session, and that's it. And he's hit every ball from there. And then you go into some and you watch Phil. He just
we
turf
can dog
is
on
gone.
Phil. We can dog on Phil right now.
It's a
right?
four-letter.
right
That's a
now.
four-letter.
I know
word
it is.
right
But
now.
I've seen both of them practice, and you do everything you can, and they understand. They get into some of the GCSA stuff, but it's just how they practice, and they're not going to change, no matter what. It's kind of like how metal spikes were when we got rid of those. There's some guys that still wear them because I'm not changing. That's what I'm doing.
Do miss the sound.
So that sound on the pass is pretty good.
So maybe what we'll do with our 9 viewers that we have out there, if you want
10!
hey, we got the 10.
See, people are waking up now,
Ooh,
right?
We got the 10. So maybe what we'll do is if the 10 viewers out there have questions for our superintendents, we can this can be one of our little sessions at
Ask
our
a
little
super.
departments,
Ask Carl.
the super dupers, right? What exactly is this, or why do we do this? And maybe we'll have Jason on more often.
I love
And
it.
I know all of the superintendents, for sure, at the park district, we're always willing to answer any question. Stop us. If you have a question, we'll always be able to answer. Even all of our assistants, everybody can answer your questions and get you an answer. And if they don't know the answer, they can find it for you.
Awesome. Well, hey, Jason Spitzner, thank you for. I think you're going to just keep. We got a little bit left to go, but you're going to be on the show the rest of the time
Sure.
here. All right, so
Sure.
you can chime in whenever you'd like. All right. So we're going to go to Greg's favorite segment. 2 on, 2 off.
Why is this my favorite segment?
Well, you kind
I
of
started it, didn't I? Yeah, I know
Yeah.
I did.
Maybe
Sorry.
it's because your Twitter feed absolutely blows
Oh,
up with
blows up.
pictures every summer.
I have 11 followers.
So
11.
So the 2 on 2 off, the 2 on 2 off segment is inspired by Greg McCullough's Twitter posts. Do you want to describe it? And it kind of ties in
it's
perfect.
great.
It
I love
dovetails
it.
perfectly with what Jason has been talking about golf course maintenance.
So
fire away.
obviously there's education, and we make fun of it. I make fun of it a lot. But how many times, and this all started with me standing in their golf shop looking at our first tee box, which is right there, right? How many people take their golf cart and park 2 wheels on the grass and 2 wheels on the path?
North Dakota nice.
I mean, I understand that we're moving out of the way for the beverage cart. That's the reason that I've been told that this all happens. But, right, how much damage gets created, right, when this happens around every tee, around every green,
Yep.
things like that. So I started taking pictures. Unfortunately for me, I started taking pictures of it and tweeting them out there. And obviously now this led to our 2 off and 2 on.
2 on, 2 off.
2 on, 2 off bit. See, I'm the negative guy. I start with the off and then go with the on. Anyway, that's kind of our story. I still do it. I do it when I'm on vacation. I did it this winter when we were gone for a little while in Arizona. I got guys that weren't not 2 on, 2 off. They were 4 off all the time. So I mean, that's how it started.
So go ahead.
Tell
Sorry.
me, if the answer though was to get out of the room for the beverage cart, any normal person, wouldn't you actually then park your cart perpendicular on the cart
Totally,
so you'd
yeah.
totally block
Lock
them
'em in.
off?
Lock 'em in.
They are not getting by without stopping and seeing me.
Listen to the PGA professional making
right.
sense on a Friday morning. April
On
Fools.
April Fool. So 2 on, 2 off. This is kind of our way of saying there's 2 good, 2 bad, and it's no holds barred, right? Because it could be anything. Could be pop culture. Could be golf. Could be Fargo. Could be the community. Could be anything. 2 on, 2 off. We kind of played this one close to the vest, though. I think, guys.
We did
But
to start.
there's a lot of stuff going on in
We have
a lot of
somebody-
stuff going on in pop
With
culture
somebody
that we
6
could.
miles away that's got the master switch, it's just their
Right.
hands on it, shaking right now to turn it off.
So we wanted to be nice, even though we're the Muni Misfits in the morning. Well, I think we can probably progress this a little bit more. But so first off, the high points. What do we got going on for high points?
Well, obviously, this upcoming week for golf is amazing, right? Because it's what? It's Masters Week, right?
April.
We talked about Amy Olsen at the ANA/Chevron, right? We have a local golfer who qualified for his first Masters, Tom Hoagie. So, right, Tom Hoagie
Yeah.
at the Masters, can't imagine what he's going through. I can't imagine, all the heartbeats that happen there. What is, can he sleep? How much is he going to sleep? When does he get there? How does he get there? Which I know how he gets there.
Is Tom one of the 10 watching right now?
He should be. I can text him right now and ask him.
Can we get him on the show?
Are you up?
Probably not next week.
We can maybe try.
Yeah, we were
Probably
get him
not
on the
next
show
week.
going, what's it going to take for us to play a practice round with you at Augusta? That's what we want to know.
Not gonna happen. All right, but yeah, that's
So Tom Hoge at the Masters is one of my ons.
okay.
Okay.
I think that's fantastic. We right now, as far as my ons, just being able to see the Masters on the horizon. That we kind of talk about that at the very beginning of the show. Once you start hearing the music, once we see April is on the calendar, it is April. It changes things, right? I mean, people are coming into the golf shop with a different pep in their step. So
Without a doubt.
I'm pretty excited for it. And the chance, is there a chance that we're going to be? Is there a chance that
Today's April Fool's.
Is there a chance that
Just
there's
putting it out there.
maybe golf around Masters time somewhere in Fargo? I'm not even.
Probably around in the vicinity.
Okay.
In the vicinity.
I like
Yeah.
the gray. I live in the gray, so that's fantastic. So
We'll be playing by May 1 for sure.
I love it. I love
May
it.
Day.
So-
It is April, so you never know when you may get more of the S word.
yeah, that
It,
kinda-
it,
yeah.
it, is,
Sunshine?
it is closer. It is
Sunshine?
closer than it was. The snow. It would have been really close without the snow,
Yeah.
but it's close. It's
And that,
close.
That kind of leads to maybe our off
Yeah.
portion is
For sure.
just this. Once again, I mentioned early in our segment is we've got white stuff all over the ground out here, and like I said, everybody was kind of ramped up, excited. They're showing master previews. We're hearing Tiger news, and then bam, we got dropped 3-4 inches in snow in Fargo, and kind of puts a little bit of a damper on things.
I thought it was going to be gone by now. I didn't think that we would still be seeing snow. I thought that for sure we'd. And now, what do you think? Do you think we're going to be snow free in a couple of days?
I would guess we're snow free Monday probably.
It is crunchy.
It's not
It is
nearly as
crunchy
warm
stuff.
as we were hoping it would be right after the snow. Grand Forks didn't get as much snow. I think they're supposed to be 10 degrees warmer than we are today. So we just got to get the snow melted and then see how we can dry up.
Okay. Last on the off thing, we can talk about all this as merchandisers and consumers too. Supply chain is definitely an off right now. So people coming into the golf shop, brand new golf shop. I'm pretty stoked to have this brand new look here in Osgood, and it's pretty bare around here. Most of our ship dates are going to be middle of April, but I am monitoring all of these order confirmations like an absolute hawk, because I don't know about you guys. Are you guys seeing like delay or are
Depends on what you're talking about a little. I think the biggest supply chain issue that all of us are going to have, and the consumer out there is going to have, is golf bags. Because for us, if we did not pre-order our golf bags in October to get them this year, if somebody wants a special order a bag or something like that,
Yeah.
you're literally looking at anywhere from August to October before you get that bag. So I think that's the one that seems to be the worst. Golf balls
I was
are
just gonna say
sporadic.
golf balls.
Golf balls are sporadic. Obviously, Titleist used to do a 3 for 4, buy 3 get 1 free. They're not doing that this year just because they can't produce enough golf balls. So golf balls are not very good. Golf clubs are, I think, slightly better, although golf shafts are terrible. So
Yep. X-Flex.
steel golf shafts are going to be. I was at a conference in November with a shaft manufacturer, and they said steel golf shafts are going away because we can't get them.
Whoa.
I know.
That's the first. So that's honestly the first time I've heard that.
Yep. So I mean, going away is that's a little
Yeah.
bit of a line term there, but they actually said that steel shafts are going to be. They're hard to get right now, and that's not going to get any better, and it's going to be worse. So
Going back to Hickory.
go back to Hickory. There we
Hey,
go.
we got some over
Yeah,
there.
of
Right
course
there.
you do, right over
Yeah.
there. So there is some still supply chain issues. I think the last year we've gotten used to it a little bit. We got a little spoiled. It was 48 hours. We could order a set of clubs, 48 hours they would ship. We'd have them in 10 days. Now it's, depending on the company, I would say 2 to 4 weeks, maybe for drivers, maybe around that for irons in certain spots. But
Yeah.
I think the companies are having a hard time with shafts.
If a person,
That goes into the golf maintenance end too. We're having a very difficult time getting parts for machines.
Sure.
So you have breakdowns. It's taking a long time for parts. We did order a few new machines, and our expected delivery date, we ordered them in January of this year. Our expected delivery date is December. So it doesn't really do us much good through the golf season, but you have to order it. That's the timeline. So you just take what you can get. If you can get it sooner, great. But it is taking a lot of time, and pricing and everything is going up in price on our end for repair. Not only fuel,
right?
but just everything is made with steel, metal. That's all going up in price. Harder to get.
So if you're out there as a consumer looking for new set of clubs, new bag, my suggestion would be get the clubs on order, and if you see a bag you like, don't wait for it because it's going to be gone.
Yeah, had a couple of prior to being at Osgood, had a couple of teams reach out to get team golf bags. Just kind of speaking about that, and it was called up a couple places, and they're like, no, not to single out any vendors right now, but it's like it's difficult to get equipment, and it's so hit and miss too. I don't know if you guys have found that out, but some manufacturers, when you're looking up clubs, are like, yeah, they ship tomorrow. that's fantastic. And then you look at something that just has a certain component to it. Like I found X-Flex shafts are kind of weird. Certain grips are kind of weird.
Grips will be another thing that are hard to get.
Yeah. So I think one thing that we have to educate the consumer on, especially when ordering, is maybe to be a little bit flexible. Like you might not be able to get that particular grip, and if you do, be prepared to maybe wait. So it's going to be an interesting year for sure. How about you? What is the inventory level like at Creek right now?
Well, I've got a little bit of stuff in, but it's slow. This time of year, I've kind of learned that I don't need it in February and March. So I try to, kind of slow that process coming on in. So I think it starts to move in April a little bit more in May. And I think I remember Greg McCullough once telling me, he goes, get all that stuff in right away in April, and you got to sit and look at it for 2 months. You just want to puke after a while. So it's like...
so true. Although right now I kind of wish I had some stuff, but
I've got some Rose Creek logo stuff I can sell you.
Perfect in here. So, do you guys have anything else to add to the 2 on 2 off? That was kind of an extended segment there as far as the off part. But.
Well, probably not the 2 on 2 off because that would make it 3 on or 3 off. So we'll just keep it that. But I will say, if a person wants to kind of get a little bit of early Masters kind of excitement. They do have the Drive Chip and Putt Championship on this weekend. And we have 4 individuals as far as from our Minnesota section. And our Minnesota section comprises over Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, and a small sliver of Wisconsin. So there's 4 kids that are representing our section that are coming out of here. If you go out to, if you're on Twitter, if you're on Facebook, go out to PGA Reach Minnesota, and they've got some really kind of cool little videos, some of the kids and what they've been doing in the off season, whether it's been indoors or shoveling snow outdoors and hitting balls. And the other thing that's cool that's going on, which I think might be televised on Saturday, is the Augusta National Women's Amateur, which I think right now is being led by a 16-year-old. So
look at all these
cool
little
stuff.
Trinkets of information you're just sprinkling in on the end. This was really
I
good.
eat this Augusta stuff up, and so it's kind of like I know what I'll be
That
doing
is
this weekend
super.
is watching basketball and golf, and getting everything else ready. So
Pace looks like he's writing a very important note.
Oh my
Be
God.
done. Be done.
No, he was like,
he's
he's
giving
like,
that.
"Come in."
That's enough.
You guys have been off air for like 30 minutes
There
by
we
now.
go.
So, with that, what I'm going to do, what's that? What are you pointing at? All right.
This just in. Breaking news.
All All right. So I've been told by our producer, Pace of Play, that we need to plug FargoGolf.net, FargoParks.com, golf course, Facebook pages. Subscribe. Okay.
Like, subscribe. We'd like to get to
Thanks, Pace. Appreciate
how many?
that.
How many are we trying to get to
what
by
are-
next week? 1,000?
Goal setting is very
It
important.
is very important.
Yeah. So goal setting is important. I think what do
You hit 19. That's
We're
good.
all the way up to 19.
Yeah.
We're not quite
so
21 yet.
I think we could hit 100 next week.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's
100 next week.
Let's hear feedback from
Yep.
everybody.
Yeah.
Tell your spouse, tell your brothers and sisters, tell your friends, tell everybody. All right, throw it on your bumper sticker.
What was
That
the
one
what was
again?
the slogan? What's your slogan?
I don't even remember. If it's
Okay.
white, let them go, or if it's snow, let it go, or no snow, let it go, or
We'll workshop that.
All right.
Yeah. So next week's kind of our Masters
Yeah.
deal, right? So we'll have Butler Cabin-esque. We're going to be at your place.
Yeah, live from the Edgewood Chalet.
Yeah.
Right? AKA Butler Cabin.
That's perfect. So tune in next week. We're going to be 7 o'clock. We're still able to do 7 o'clock, boys?
Absolutely.
Okay. So 7 o'clock live.
Well, Matt can't, but
Edgewood's kind of out there
7:07.
too.
you know how to
7:07.
get to Edgewood?
I think I can remember. Over the river and through the woods.
There you go.
So be sure that you catch us on YouTube, catch us on Facebook. All of our golf course pages, right, Pace?
Yep.
Are pushing this out. So you'll catch us anywhere on social. We're happy if you are one of those 19 that stuck it out. That stuck it out all the way to the end. You deserve a prize. Thank you very much, and we will hopefully see you next week at the Butler Cabin, AKA Butler Cabin, the Edgewood Chalet. So thanks for joining us. You guys have anything else? Oh, we got a high five right there.
Wow, that's impressive. That's good.
all around. So
Yes.
have a great morning. Have a great weekend, and golf is on the horizon, folks. We will see you soon.